top 6. Maybe.
Top 6.
That's the goal. That's the dream.
You know what team I'm going to ride? I'm going to say VP's going to do it.
What? I said that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, dope. We can be this together.
We could be the
For
VP
once,
boys?
I'm like, yeah.
Okay. What's your reasoning behind VP?
I actually think it's because I think they have the high skill aspect
Yes.
while remaining low key.
Yes, that's what I said.
Yes, I think our reasoning tracks here. I think
It's
it actually might
they're
be
not the
VP's
front
year.
runners, you know?
Yes, but they're still the skill
But they're
is there.
still they still can
Yeah.
be the best team.
The thing about it is like everyone always forgets about you for so fast in Dota.
Yes.
You know, I think it's just like mentality is they're gonna get an IO gyro first too. And
Okay.
okay, this is one of the few ways you can deal with Enchantress apparently in lane.
Yeah.
Or so Alliance thought, and then they got wrecked at the summit by this
Really?
by Pain's Enchantress offlane.
Do you okay?
Or Infamous. No, it was Pain. It was Pain. It was Pain.
Do you consider moving the Enchantress to a support position because it's such a good counter, or
Again, I just told you.
because
man, they got
Alliance
whomped.
lost that apparently it's fine? What do you need as a support to make this Enchantress feel better about the IO gyro? Because I thought this was like a pretty hard counter.
I thought so too. I mean, I guess you could just swap in lanes, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also don't love the idea of like, unless it's like the hardest counter ever, where she just completely loses her game. Is that the case? Do you play Ench offlane at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
What do you think about it?
I mean, I haven't played it in this meta, is the problem. Like, I played it back in the previous meta where the Enchantress was really popular.
I see, I see.
You were pretty much forced to play Enchantress if you were an offlaner. But I remember playing against Gyro Wisp, and it felt terrible. They have so much magic damage.
Yes.
And this Wisp actually has potentially even more magic damage. And an easier game to play around you now that his E is a little bit more, let's say, friendly? Noob friendly? It's just an easier skill to use all around.
Honestly, just by this like beginning chat, I can always tell. I can narrow it down to 2 teams every time.
OG or VP.
It just
Dude, apparently Navi, I mean, we did the OG versus Navi, and Navi was not afraid to go for the chat wheel
Navi
spam.
like half did it. I was
Yeah,
really
that's
in
true.
on them.
They were when they were winning, they were doing it, but they didn't do it when they were losing. The thing is,
Yeah.
OG never gives up on the chat wheel.
The thing is, OG threw the game and they still chat wheeled themselves. That is the like I'm starting to rank teams now based on like how good they are at using the chat wheel, even when ahead or behind.
Oh, dude, the god level 1v1 mid kill and dropping the loser tag, the Legion Commander losing. I realized how god tier that is because everyone mutes OG, right?
Yeah.
But you can't mute that. You can't just be like, I don't want to see these stickers on the ground. I don't want to see Thompson calling me a loser because he 1v1 killed me. You can't stop that. OG, they're on the next level of chat wheel.
OG is definitely on the next level of chat wheel.
All right, well, Virtus Pro are going all in on Teamfight right now. They're going to go for the Tide Hunter, which is a kind of classic combo with Gyro Wisp.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally speaking, if you were to one-on-one lane Tide versus Ench, it doesn't feel great because she doesn't care about your Kraken. She's just gonna throw impetus at you, hit after hit.
But Tide's Anchor Smash is more effective against Enchantress than it used to be, right? Because now it actually applies a right-click attack as well, which is better the later the game goes. And you've got the minus armor aspect of Gush, which is still, minus armor is still good versus Enchantress.
I kind of like this tiny pickup. Fatal Bonds plus the tiny should be really nice too.
Okay.
The burst damage, it's like one of those weird interactions, where like the Tide Hunter can potentially die while he's in the combo, despite cracketing.
What about why not Grimstroke? The Grimstroke Warlock combo, and Grimstroke is also the counter to IO Gyro. Why do you like Tiny more?
I just think that right now I think they need damage right now.
Okay.
Like I actually think they need damage quite badly.
They need a hero that is a playmaker, that is actually a solid threat to go around getting kills.
Yes. It's like one of those things where if you pick like let me find like the right example. Like if your support duo is Rubik +1. Like depending on what it is, oftentimes like what it does is like that sort of support duo will lack damage.
Yeah.
I feel like if you did like Grim Warlock. That'd be a real, like, do nothing.
Yeah. You want a solo
Potential.
operator, somebody who can single-handedly threaten the enemy.
Yes, I think especially against like IO Gyro, you don't want to have both supports playing together at all times. I think it slows down the pace of your game too much.
All right, we're going to go for the Morphling, which is a little bit surprised he went this deep into the pool, given that it's the go-to counter against Swiss Gyro. But VP apparently felt like they had an answer to it if it does get picked. In the very last of this second phase of picks, Royal Never Give Up finally give in.
Hey, is that supposed to be like a broken bottle cap looking thing? Or you know the tab from like soda cans or something?
No, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be the ship steering wheel. I forgot what that's called.
Do you understand what I mean though?
Yes.
This
I can see
this right here.
Oh, that on the anchor.
Yeah. It looks like
Oh.
a soda tab.
It kind of does. Yes.
Okay, anyways.
Pretty sure it's not supposed to be.
Mm,
Pretty sure that's just supposed to be part of the chain of the anchor.
interesting. All right, so Morphling, yeah, it's really nice for Gyro specifically, just because you steal flak back.
Uh-huh.
There's, I mean, aside from that, like being anybody else, I guess you could technically be. The funny part is, I was about to say like you could be SD and like do it to yourself, but that makes no sense, because you'd just be SD.
Yes.
Could you? I wanted like some like weird situation where you could do it fast enough.
And realize that none of that was working out in your head the way you thought it
This is
would.
not how this works. But SD actually, I think, functions quite nicely against Morphling.
Yeah.
Like you get SD against all Agi-core feels good. You get your illusions are actually just really strong, and
Yeah.
they deal a good amount of damage as a result too.
And you're never gonna hate percentage-based damage against Morphling when
No,
he tries
not
to
at
go
all.
like into full strength, just to try and beat through everything.
The only thing is, aside from I can't remember what I saw, but like I think Tide versus Morph is not the worst matchup for Tide, in terms of like late game,
Yeah.
because the Ravage is so quick.
Mm.
If you do it like if you blink point blank into the Morphling, like you can get it off before he's able to morph or BKB or anything on.
You think that's a little bit different since they slowed down the Ravage speed? Or you just
No,
gotta
I think-
focus on
I think
blinking
I heard
on
this
the
like
morph?
recently,
Okay.
like somewhat recently, that it wasn't like impossibly bad or anything like that.
Okay. I mean, you always like minus armor as well against Morph, right? Because he does the morph into strength, but then he's lowering his armor, so minus armor just feels super good at that point.
Yeah, the only thing about VP's lineup is like there's a good amount of control, but the only thing that they lack is like this hardcore burst aside from this SD, which is why I think that Puck here is not bad at all. Very elusive hero in this regard.
Mhm.
So I feel like for VP they want some sort of like insta kill threat, some like 0 to 100 threat.
Well, it's not going to be DK. That was the first thing that popped into my head when I saw the puck, but that was
Yeah.
banned out by RNG.
Let me think. I don't know. I feel like that is the only thing potentially that you could be asking for, or like a little bit of a faster wave clear.
Okay. What's faster wave clear?
That is the question, isn't
Yeah,
it?
there's so many mids banned away. No Ember, no Kunkka. Odie's not a viable hero here. Don't think Death Prophet is super viable here. The Monkey King, Lena's, Quaps.
I wish Lena was better, because then I would just like snap tell you that'd be Lena because she has good synergy too with the SD.
Yeah, and she's thought of as being okay against Morph, right? Because you have this threat of this heavy amount of burst damage that it forces him to maintain a higher strength than he wants
If
to.
it were
a
Beast
lot of
Coast or
times.
something, I bet they pick like OD. But I feel like that's kind of greedy.
Yeah, that is super greedy.
I'm down for some hero like Storm or Lena. Just clear waves. Just act as like the vessel so that Gyro can carry you. Plus, you want to add another hero to the pool that can set up for the relocate. Because Gyro doesn't want to be your combo that like leads any
Yeah.
sort of gank or anything like that.
You want some sort of okay.
Oh, it's
So some sort of Quaswex Invoker against Morph? Like, you want a faster acting Invoker for sure that sets up relocates, right? Because right now you only have Disruption and maybe Ravage to go for the relocate.
The thing is that VP runs solo, or solo runs himself anyways, more like a 4.
Yeah.
It's like they have a bunch of 4 positions.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how Pasha's going to adapt to that, because he is playing a much harder 3 position that is going to need a good amount of farm. Meanwhile, Royal Never Give Up, I think they have, at least Puck is able to operate without, you know, a need for a large amount of net worth. He's going to be going around hunting around. Tiny's going to be doing some of that. I think Enchantress is... Well, we'll see how the laning phase goes for him. But I think Enchantress with Tiny, he should be able to walk away with a decent laning phase, because he's got an okay frontliner for himself. And you've got the sick combination. You know what that is?
What?
The impetus into toss.
Okay.
Throw him a million miles away. All right, we'll see how it goes.
I'm trying to see like where...
You know what? One thing that I like what VP did with this last pick is the fact that they have likely secured themselves better late game. Right?
Yes. But it's like a greedier... I mean, it pretty much...
And Royal Never Give Up is being kind of a greedier team, to be honest. Like, they are not the team. Like, I see this Tidehunter, I expected it to be on the RNG side, because that was like one of their go-to offlaners when they qualified. They lost a fair amount of games with it, but...
Show me this Invoker.
Alright, well, starting off with Quas. I really think Quas Wex is the build this game.
Yes. I completely agreed with your assessment. I just didn't want to double down on it in case we both look like idiots. You can't do that as a pair, man.
that is true. Sometimes our vision of Dota aligns a little bit too much, so if we're wrong, we're probably both wrong. All right, just tell the audience you think it's Exort Invoker.
I think it might be an Exort. It could be an Exort
Because it'll kill
Invoker.
Enchantress.
Yeah, it's a lot of burst damage.
He's going to do the weird Quas Exort builds.
Man, that really tells... Okay, so, like, it couldn't be Storm because of the Puck matchup, but that really tells you how, like, far heroes like Lina, for example, have fallen off.
Yeah.
I mean, if CCNC's not playing it...
I have to say, I have to commend. These pictures are, like, one of the best things that have happened in TI in years. Like, the photographer got some amazing reactions out of all of these players.
Yeah. Did I tell you, like, when we were on Zephyr, we had to take the same photos every year?
Yeah,
something like that. And Purge saved them all, let me tell you. And they were terrible. We were so bad at it. And this Korean photographer, just like, because he just assumed none of us spoke Korean.
Yeah.
I could hear him say, like, these idiots. This is their 5th time doing it, and they still don't know what kind of pose I want from them. And he would just, like, languish in despair, you know? It was so funny. He legit just had no idea that I spoke, because I never spoke Korean to him, because then I would have to have, like, a conversation.
Yeah.
And he'd get so mad. Be like, strong pose. We're like, what is a strong pose?
And you guys are gamers. Noodle arms going on.
Yeah,
This is before FitBlitz was a thing.
They're like, fun pose. And I was like, what is fun? So then we just do the exact same pose every time until they just gave up.
I remember Corey always had the hand behind his back pointing to the...
Whereas, like, you know, VP really ran with it.
Yeah.
They were good.
All right, well, you could see Fly Behind Lanham. They are not going to just take this gyro IO lane laying down. They are immediately trying to put some pressure in as Lanham tries to separate the tether with the toss. We have the mid matchup, Setsu versus no one, Puck versus Invoker. We'll see how this Quas Exort build does for the laning phase, because it's always a little bit harder, right, when you go the Quas Exort, or Quas Wex build, because you don't have the damage.
You don't have the damage, but you have the regen against heroes that spam out.
So you play a little bit more of a harassment game as opposed to the last hitting one.
The funniest part about that is I mainly know that because of playing against versus like playing the hero itself. Because I'm a fool and I still use Legacy Key, so I have no idea how to play Invoker.
Well, Afu and Monet have already established their dominance. Not that it's really like Pasha and Solo don't care that much, because there's a giant wave pushing into them. Flyby! He's going to be taking a lot of damage, but that's why he has a tanky frontliner in Lanham, so he can run and tank some of the rocket barrage damage for him.
Seeing a lot of this, by the way. The Bassi.
Yes.
It's
Oh,
like
and they might actually be able to finish off Affo. He's going to get a bit low. Roger is forced to pop the healing salve here. The toss over to be able to cancel that healing salve. Nicely played by Lonham.
Everybody's going Bassis lately.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like Dota 1. Remember when people go like Ring of Protection or like they'd spam Ring of Regen?
Yep, yes.
It's very interesting that we've come back like, full circle to this meta.
I feel like it's particular value for this matchup, right? Because he's giving the aura to Roger as well, but Affo, he's going to die here. That's going to be your first blood for Flyby, and they're going to be able to do some decent damage to Roger as well here. He still has a toss. Lonham's trying to get close enough to be able to get the toss back onto the creeps. Roger has nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide. That's going to be double starting off for RNG.
You know what's really funny is this start is literally how the Alliance game went, where they thought that because when Insanio was on the couch, that's what he said.
Yeah.
It's like, we thought that IOJAR was great, and then all of a sudden we got wrecked by this Pain Enchantress, and this looks eerily similar.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's just not that bad anymore? It's not really looking like it, Cap.
Yeah, it doesn't seem terrible. Monet under a lot of pressure there. The disruption to be able to get the 5-stack solo. Reading that quite nice, waiting for the waveform animation to get the disruption, guaranteeing that 5th and ultimately fatal stack of Shadow Poison.
He was like mid-cast too. That was really well done.
Yeah.
Really, really well done. No one's gonna fight this because there is no phase shift or orb. Know that he's under no pressure, but well done at bottom lane. Solo does not play like your typical 5.
No.
But no 5s really play like their typical 5 anymore.
That's true.
Also, like, the mechanical skill game for all the players have been, like, it's just been raised across the board. You can't have that captain anymore who's a liability mechanically like you used to.
Afu does manage to get the kill onto the Shatter Demon. He's just suiciding into the tier 2, that's all. Just resetting the lane. Affo is going to die again. Just cannot seem to handle this burst from the Tiny combined with the constant damage from the Enchantress.
See, if that was a Rubik, though, you're not getting that kill.
Yeah.
That's why I think Rubik, what he really does is he adds like a pretty decent laning phase, but more importantly, like his mid game is so good.
Yeah.
His like mid-late game pressures with the right abilities too that he has to play against, I think is really strong. Same with like Grimstroke. I think they would both fall into that trap. Whereas like Tiny offers this like burst that's like pretty unique.
We're definitely seeing I think the Mango's help as well. Good avalanche and decent amount of damage onto Roger.
Come, friends. Oh, they're trying to secure bounties.
Yeah, Lana wants to make sure that there's no funny business from this Wisp. Roger's not going to be able to have the opportunity to sneak a free refill on that bottle that is looking real empty right now.
So
29 and 5. Pasha's top CS right now, though.
Yeah, both safe laners are just being pressured out.
Jar and Morph, not terrible CS, but have both received a death. So.
I'm gonna run in.
They are going to be able to get the tether dodge. Nicely timed by Roger. They're going to go and activate the shrine. Not much else they can do. CS is going to the favor of the puck in mid lane, but not by much. Over to bottom lane, they've already got a ton of stacks onto Afu. He's going to be able to have a lot of magic stick charges, but it may not be enough. Pasha's willing to dive this tower. One more anchor smash and another round of Shadow Poisons. That'll be enough to get the kill. We're definitely seeing the what we were talking about, the Shadow Poison buff. Maybe you weren't there for that. We were talking about it on the couch and why it feels like so much stronger. Like, one of the things that I said, it was like really important, the fact that he gets this intelligence gain and the lower mana cost. So he can actually spam it non-stop in lanes. You combine that with Mangoes, we're going to see Roger. Oh, good save from no one there. Well-timed Tornado allows Roger to be able to get behind the tier 1.
I was literally there for that entire discussion.
Well, the audience wasn't, so.
And we had this discussion this morning on our previous cast.
Well, it doesn't hurt.
All right, I'm fine with it. Run it back.
You guys weren't watching the Force stream, right? You had us on mute.
That was OG Navi, man. If you're a fan of Dota, you're running it all. What is we have?
That's true, but you can't run all 4 audios. That'd just be absurd. That'd be like
some madman just like has them all open at once.
laughing maniacally the entire time. All of a sudden, 20 different chat wheel lines are all going off at once.
What an experience that would be.
Short little pause here as Virtus Pro. Do you feel like when one team or the other is coming out on top in the laning phase, it feels pretty even?
I think that the team that liked their timing better was probably RNG. Because I think Morph is always going to kind of struggle.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Gyro Whisk, like, that's a lane that needs to have a good,
they're meant to win their
good strong
phase.
start.
Plus, I think this mid matchup going even-ish, I think is sort of, it's okay for both sides almost.
Yeah.
Like, no one hates it.
We'll just have to see what. Naturally, what's probably going to happen is the Puck's going to be the first one to make the rotation, right? He has Dream Coil. Easy setup for kills.
In an ideal world, what'll happen is like one of them will move first, and the other will be ready to counter-initiate.
Yeah. So Puck will move up to the top lane to go for the coil, and Invoker's ready to TP in and defend it with a tornado.
Yeah, but I think that depending how far is this Entrum 6?
The Enchantress is 5.5.
5.5. So if Ench actually hits 6, there's a pretty good chance that they could just kill him before any sort of like reprisal.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of burst damage. Just the Dream Coil, the Orb, and then 2 impetus shots. That sounds like enough to kill
Alright,
Gyro.
I think this is what'll happen. If I had to like, if you had to like tell me like what's gonna happen, Ramses is gonna get bullied out right now, and then he's gonna go switch out to the triangle, and they're probably just gonna start abandoning this top lane.
Yeah.
Because I actually think that the Tide doesn't want to be up here either.
Yeah.
That's why I was confused that they took the Tide.
Well, Ramses is definitely going to get bullied out as he has died.
Yeah,
and we'll see where he goes from here.
Part of the weird part about picking this Tide is like, you had some reasoning for it, right? You said like it's a lot better now, the anchor.
Yeah.
But you know the impetus is still going to wreck you.
Yeah, for sure. Kraken Shell doesn't protect you against that amount of damage.
So they're actually not going to abandon this lane, and in fact, no one's going to rotate down to this bottom lane. So what I'm hoping for is the Puck just keeps TP holstered. Yeah. If the Warlock just dies here, that's fine.
You only TP in if Monet is threatened and they're diving like tier 1.
I think it's one of those like really weird situations, but both the mid laners play the same role in that regard.
Yeah.
They're both heroes that don't. They both want to leave the lane, but at the same time they don't because they don't want to get caught into a position where they get counter-initiated.
Monet going for the kill onto Artstyle. Shadow Word taking him out. Artstyle will die here. The Ravage finally going out, and it's not looking good though. Afu might just be able to walk this one off, especially with the stick charges he had. He's got 2 Shadow Poison ticks. A Gush not up, actually doesn't have the mana, but fortunately he's got phase boots to be able to land that last anchor smash needed.
Yeah, and the trade will be solo for Afu is. They're just giving the subtle shout out to Artstyle.
Sorry, I said Apo as well earlier when I was looking at Ramses.
It's really throwing. I think
yeah, dude, I'm always looking at the last name. I just see Apo. I see.
Oh, they know. They should definitely know that the Puck
is. I mean, the Puck is. He's going to go and take the orbs, and he's already used his orb and won't be able to jump to it in time. So phase shift, dodge the EMP, will be able to get the Dream Coil out, but at the end of the day, he was just caught by a really well-timed tornado. As soon as he threw out that orb, it was pretty greedy of him, but...
Yeah, they knew he was there. That's why the Invoker was in the position that he was. He tried for the burst, but doesn't quite get it this time. As Monet is more aware now of how that goes. That was still pretty close.
Soul Catcher is going to wear out here. Monet may actually be able to get the kill on solo as Lanham's going to join him, but he's getting a few too many stacks. He can't keep going like this. Lanham will have to single-handedly bring down solo here.
As he is creating a lot of space now.
There's the disruption, but the toss. But as you said, I mean, that's a Puck rotating all the way down to this bottom tier 2 area. That's not really a good place to want to be.
And every time Ramses pokes his little head out,
yep.
This is looking okay? It's not.
I'll be back to jungle I go.
Back to jungle goes. I think normally what would happen is whatever offlaner they have would rotate to this lane, but because nobody wants to be up here for the time being, you sort of have to regard this Enchantress as this like weird black hole on the map.
Where because the gyro whiz wasn't an answer in lane, now nobody can really kill her.
Yeah.
So you just have to be like, well.
But like you'll have ways to deal with it later on. You'll have a
Yeah.
Spirit Vessel on no one, which is partially why I think they decided to go for the Invoker too, because he is such a good counter to a lot of these kinds of heroes.
We did see that from the way OG played with the 7 Enchantress, is that like he was able, once he realized he was like the strongest hero, he just continued to play that way, where he was very forward and just kind of like forcing the enemy team to go through him.
Yes. At some point you're gonna just still gets
unable to dodge the EMP, so loses a lot of his mana.
So I think part of the reason why we didn't really consider this Invoker was because they had a Wisp already, and that's already a carrier of Vessel and all that.
Yeah.
And that's such a big item on Wisp.
Yeah.
I like this move. Monet is going to have the safe lane tower spoon-fed for him. The Enchantress doesn't TP immediately down. She wants to make sure like he's in a good position to take it anyways.
Yeah, since they're like the ones already setting the pace to make sure they get the tower, the Ravage is going to be forced out of Pasha here. Does get a lot of damage on Alana, and now with the relocate in, they're trying to finish off Flyby. It's actually healing so much. They need more damage. Finally, the Rocket Barrage and all those Shadow Poison stacks, plus the Purge. Everything being thrown by VP to make sure that the damn RNG offlaner finally does fall, and they get a kill streak for it as well. But now no one is going to be able to cut the supports out before they can return to the base. EMP burning Lanham out of all his mana, tries to hit the tornado to be able to finish him off, unable to get it. No one realizing he doesn't want to overcommit here, could get caught by Setsu, and sure enough he does. The Dream Coil holding him in place, is going to wait it out before running out of this area. The silence, not quite enough, and he will be able to get away, it looks like, as now Roger and Ramses have returned to be able to bolster this, will be able to get the kill on Afu. So even if they don't get that tiny, at least they get something out of all of this that VP have put towards his bottom lane. And this is because they need to be able to even things out, right, when it comes to towers.
Yes. And they're trying to make the mirror move, but I think they were trying to just grab the tower out of that as well.
Yeah.
The setup just happened to naturally come because they had the Ravage up. And that's going to knock off the highest net worth hero in the game overall. But I think the Enchantress is still okay with that. Like, Ravage was used plus relocate. This is going to create a lot of space for his Morphling. And that's part of the reason why he decided like to stick up there for the Morphling so long, to like, make sure that this guy gets the tower, so that he could open up his game and start to farm the triangle without feeling too bad.
Yeah.
So now you have access to like both.
It always feels sick when you take that safe lane tower, then you can take more of the dire jungle and take your triangle and push the lane farther. There's just like, it feels like there's 2 or 3 times the amount of farm available at that point. And he's already got double Wraith Bands plus the Morbid Mass, so he's able to just kind of like infinitely sustain himself off neutral creeps.
So despite the fact that I feel like no one's been outmaneuvering this puck, the net worths are very even, in fact, in favor of this puck.
Another coil, disruption, just buying him a bit of time. Don't think no one can really save him, but perhaps he can set up something with this reload coming in. They do have the tornado, EMP burning out Flyby. He does manage to get off the heal first, but yeah, the heal is just good enough. In fact, if anything, Ramses has to retreat as the impetus shots start flying his way.
Let me tell you, that heal, every safe laner knows. You're not killing that guy.
I have gotten off nature's attendance. You must give up now.
You thought, Austin. You thought.
There just is not enough burst damage on the side of VP to really be able to address that. They shift. Still
it
hit by
catches
the
him.
tornado though, and he also has the missile on him. He's not going to be able to dodge it either. Silence goes out, but it's not enough to be able to stop Setsu from falling here. Now they're trying to chase for more. Lanham and Flyby though, ready to turn if they see VP stumble a little bit too far. They still feel strong enough to defend this safe lane tower and hold the map control advantage that they built up from the laning phase. Disruption setting things up for the Gyrocopter ultimate, but again, Flyby has that heal, so he's really not that scared. And with the Golem as well as his Fatal Bonds damage bouncing around, Ramses rather, is keeping himself alive thanks to Roger. Just really good movement with that Wisp, managing to maintain distance and not take a whole lot of damage. And as a result, RNG will finally lose that fight. They were willing to take that fight earlier, just the 3 of them. VP, though, bringing a full 5-man roster.
No, I don't think you can get away with that anymore.
Yeah.
This Invoker's already got Spirit Vessel. That was a 3-on-5 fight. no one had any intentions on the side of RNG to come over.
And this time around, we're not going to say that space is worth it, right?
No, not at all. I feel like that was a pretty big throwaway there.
Yeah.
In fact, like, they didn't have to make that move. They consciously decided to get aggressive after the kill and stick around. And, I mean, taking a 3-on-5 when you've already accomplished a job of bringing all the heroes down here, I think is sort of redundant. Because your Morph was going to farm in this triangle anyways. It's not like he needed more farms secured.
Yeah.
The only other move you'd make for that is if mid tower were being taken and the puck was like, buy me time.
I'm just quickly trying to address the creep wave, mostly because that catapult is coming in. You always want to try and deal with the catapult as quick as possible. That way it's not a threat to do a significant amount of damage to your towers. Especially that mid tower blitz. We've talked a lot about how the mid tier 1 tower is all important.
Yeah.
Do you still feel that way?
I don't know how I feel about it anymore.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch this tournament and sort of like be curious. It felt like in OG's game they still prioritized it heavily.
Yeah.
But it feels like more and more teams are getting used to the concept of defending their safe lane tower, whereas they weren't before.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine that's like a secret influence, whereas like secret nowadays, if their tower's above 50 HP or 50% HP, they're gonna defend that tower. And we saw something sort of similar just now from RNG. It was just some sort of weird half committal.
It also usually takes like you being able to walk away. Like your timing is faster than the enemies. You've taken the enemy safe lane tower faster than they've been able to address yours, so you're able to set up.
Yes, it's where normally really good teams, what they do is they mirror.
Yeah.
Radiant versus Dire, it's if they go for the top tower, you go for the bottom tower. Because as time progresses, it's harder to make that trade. There's no longer a trade to be made at that point, right? So the team can all in defend. That's why like mid one, what he normally did, even like 2 metas ago, was he's the one that rotates because he's the strongest hero on the map. He forces whoever's out there, and they take the tower faster than you expect.
He would relocate. They are bringing everybody they can to make sure this Enchantress does indeed die, and then they'll go straight into hitting that mid tier 1 tower.
The Spirit Vessel pickup is so good.
Yeah, that is just wrecking the Enchantress right now.
Yeah, I like that no one was like, dude, just let me get it.
Yeah.
I know you're Wisp, but it doesn't matter. It's way too good on my hero.
It's going to be a lot better as an offensive threat.
I kind of wish he went Midas, by the way. That's the only sort of like nitpicky thing. I think there's
Midas
still a lot of
into
value.
Spirit Vessel, or
no, Spirit Vessel Midas.
Okay.
I'm
And
still okay with that.
He's got the Axe queued up right now instead.
Yeah, you just don't have good ways to like keep up and farm with this build, I feel, unless you just continuously get killed, where, you know, fair play to him, he is, but it's a lot more reliable to have your own sort of comeback mechanic.
Yeah.
Like
At some point in time, RNG is going to address these rotations better, and you won't be able to get these free kills.
I mean, this puck's literally 0-2-1, and he still has like almost a K up on you.
Yeah.
You have this Midas, and that is no longer really that big of a concern.
Is it a concern, though, that Sensu is yet to be able to find like a successful good rotation? Because the big reason of the puck pick is to be able to have a successful like 20-25 minute timing.
I think part of what really hurt his game is how well they counter-rotated against them.
Yeah.
They do have Rock up. They're going to make their way down here. If VP is...
I like the placement of the Warlock sticking into the side lane area. Oh, they're going to be able to get the coil. 2-man silence as well. Follow up. Wait for him. Avalanche. Drop the rock as well. Make sure that both of these heroes do die. And a kill streak going over to Afu off of that. RNG not being as conscious as we saw OG earlier, who were always trying to set up their cores for the kills. RNG are just like, let's just get what we can get as fast as possible.
In that position, you can definitely sense that people are TPing in.
Yeah.
You get the kill, you get out.
And the faster you take this kill, maybe you take that tier 1 tower as well. The Golem's going to try and go for it as Pasha. No, he just goes for the glyph, and he'll deny it at his leisure. Unless the puck is going to go for it. He tried, but Pasha swings too hard with 134 damage.
Wasn't sure why he wasn't denying it immediately. In style points, I guess.
Yeah. Solar Crest or Blink Dagger for Tide? Well, there's your answer. going to be the blink first?
I think it is. I think normally it would be solar.
Yeah.
But because of what we talked about, like with the morph interaction, you can get him like point blank before
Right.
you can get morph off.
Added to the fact that he's setting up a lot of relocate opportunities, his initiation is probably more important than it is in other games.
Yeah. I love seeing Io as a hero, by the way. I think the interaction with all the other heroes, having to be very active on the map and allowing this like combo to just like eat up all the space is really cool.
Let's see if it backfires at all.
It's like a very different kind of 4 protect 1.
Yes.
It's like a really active, like, we're gonna scout and set up for you, sort of protect 1.
And it is working for VP right now. They may not have the clear advantage. It's obviously dead even right now, but the Gyro himself is 10k. That's 1,000 gold over both the Puck and the Morphling right now.
This is a classic. Take all the outer tier 1s,
Yep.
or the bottom and the mid one, and then just go into full shot. Or you grab any tier 2s.
You push it bottom lane enough that you know people are going to react as soon as they show.
Yeah, VP are like the kings of this.
Yeah.
In fact, I see them do this by far the most. They used to do it all the time with Drug.
Look at this. They're going to set up the pickoff right after taking Roshan. They're ready to go with the relocate. Fast kill on a flyby once again. No one setting Ramses and Roger up for success.
Let me say, it's been a while now since she's been the top net worth in the game.
Yeah. She has been falling hard and fast.
Such a
is
good
now
start.
the bottom core of the game.
Yeah, she was such a good start. I feel that bottom fight really made the game a lot harder for them.
Yeah.
It's not unrecoverable, not at all, because I do think it's more to carry this game. But that bottom fight made things like 4 times harder for them.
That's the fight where RNG lost control of the game, and now VP are the ones controlling the map, and they're the ones basically saying, you have to fight us, and if you're not going to fight us, we're going to find pickoffs with no one. And as a result of all these kills, he now has an Aghanim Scepter, and he's level 16 at 22 minutes.
Okay, so he did need Midas because he just keeps getting kills.
Yeah, if you just get a
don't
kill every
stop.
like 30 seconds.
And RNG are definitely obliging right now.
He's getting a little rough, a little slow. I mean, the biggest thing that just keeps on bugging me is the fact that, like, yeah, Puck is still ahead in net worth, but, like, are you really going to do a whole lot with that net worth compared to this Invoker? Like, even if he's 1,500 ahead of the Invoker, I feel like every point of this game, the Invoker is going to start doing more and more and more than the Puck does. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see if this.
That's hard to
dagger
say
is
because
like.
once he gets stay on 5, who knows?
Yeah, could be amazing.
The TP out, no one will not guess.
That's been a big problem for Pucks ever since the Dream Coil change, right? Is that like just a little bit of damage being taken away, and you start feeling like you actually have damage issues on Puck, unless you have a way to actively force them to break the coil. Oh, it seems like you need more damage than you actually have. That Dagon will certainly fix things for you. He's gonna just look to be the assassin of Roger every single time. Any team fight, he's gonna be looking to pick off that Wisp right away.
That is a Midas Afu. Okay.
I mean, he's got to get to level 15 somehow, so he can get the talent, so he can get to level 20 faster.
Okay. I sort of like that roundabout.
I mean, like, ultimately, like, is there any other item
No.
that, like, does anything for you, you know? It's like the only thing that matters with Warlock is getting the experience to get to level 15, which gets you a faster level 20.
Plus, I think at this point, it's really like the Morphs game to carry.
Yeah.
They created a lot of space for him when they made that top maneuver, and they consciously decided not to bring him or the Puck over.
Yep. Smart idea with that double damage rune, just going for the quick backdoor in the tier 1 mid tower. And it does succeed with nobody getting caught, and finds a haste rune as he moves up to top lane.
This
but
gyro is just like item after item.
yeah. I mean, once you have the Aghanim Scepter and the Maelstrom, you start farming so fast.
By the way, I can't believe this combo at one point used to just give gyro a free
Yeah, free Aghanim.
Think about how ridiculous that is.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how farmed he'd be as the old gyro IO combo? He would have this plus like half a satanic right now. which for me is incredible.
Especially given the start that they had. They had a rough laning phase start. You even called like, oh, Ramses is going to have to, he's going to get bullied out, he's going to rotate back. And they still went back for more. But they've made just such a fast recovery in the last 15 minutes because no one has just dominated the map and they've had total free space.
Yeah, that is the majority of it, is that no one's just created so much space for his team, and he's found like 9 pickoffs in a row for their combo.
Yeah.
So is Pasha, to be fair. With the early game ravages,
Yeah.
a lot of them looked reactive. Then Flyby just got like TP'd on by like 4 heroes.
BKB for Flyby, though, will certainly change things for no one. Enchantress is not going to be that easy kill anymore, especially with 1,800 HP.
The good news for no one, though, is that it's still effective against like every other hero.
Yeah. What do you think about these early BKB timings from RNG? You've got the Enchantress, you've got Monet picking up one as well. Do you think that they felt like they were being overwhelmed by VP?
Oh,
Sunstrike, that was sick. It may not be able to get them to kill, but at least he spotted it.
I think the reasoning for it, at least for the Ench, is that she wants to continue to like split pressure the map.
Yeah.
And wants that option to just like instantly reset.
What about this, Morphle? Because this is a very early PKB for you to pick up.
I think especially after the Roshan, maybe he thought the pace of the game was going to go by too fast.
Okay.
It's one of those like reactive things where you don't want to have to use it, but at the same time, like, you know, this IO gyro combo will just high ground you if you're not careful.
Yeah.
It can just get alacritied and take your base before you know it.
So even if you're not using the BKB, in a way, it's still having. It's enough of a threat that VP may not be pushing, in part because they know this big team fight item is up.
Yeah, it's like don't hope for war, but plan for it.
Okay, I like that.
I stole that from.
I know you didn't make up that quote, but I do appreciate its usage.
Thank you. I was really hoping you'd be like, "Wow, Will, you're really smart."
No, dude.
I think I took that from like The Rock or something. I don't know.
Took it from some Fast and Furious movie. Damn, I thought you were going to say that was a Churchill quote or something.
No, I think actually that was like from Thor. That's what it was. It's from Thor Ragnarok.
that is this generation of historical quotes. EMP, blink over to the side. He still can get burned out, but he's not spotted. And a Boots of Travel has him quickly reset. Solo. Look at that. Solo just one man all by himself trying to threaten a fast kill onto no one, though. That would be massive. He drops the meteor, but he knows he's been caught. Finally, RNG gets something on the board here, as it's been a little bit of a snoozer for them.
How long has it been since their last kill?
They got a kill. Afu killed Ramses, and that was at like 23 minutes or something.
So they went like 5 minutes straight without a kill?
Yeah.
Okay, but they finally put themselves on the map. That goes to show you how good their laning phase went, by the way, initially.
Yeah.
The fact that they're only behind by 2 kills and they haven't gotten one for like 5 minutes straight.
Mm-hmm. I think it also goes to show, like some of the deaths that happened, they were creating some space, and they have been doing a really good job of continuing to farm up well on Monet and Setsu. I mean, honestly, I just can't believe how farmed this puck is.
I think their idea right now is that the Morph is still the best hero in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a cool looking graphic.
That do you agree with that assessment? Because I thought we both kind of agreed with the Invoker last pick and all the other heroes that VP have, that they maybe Morph by himself is the strongest hero on the map, but VP as a team might have better late game.
I sort of feel like with this BKB and Scotty, he can carry it.
Okay.
Let me say, by the way, I hate when Morphs go late BKBs. They get it like 2 items later than they should.
Yeah.
I agree with you in that I think this is 1 item earlier than it should be, but at the same time, I can never hate somebody for getting this item early.
Yeah. Especially against a team like VP, who you know, with their kind of skill and their kind of speed, they could just very quickly try and go for a high ground. So I appreciate him playing it safe, even if it may have slowed down his farm a bit. again, you never know what VP could have accomplished if they saw that there wasn't this fast BKB. Up the blink forward by Pasha, trying to slow somebody down. He's already taken a lot of damage. Fortunately, the Kraken Shell will manage to make him still a threat. There's Apo fully committing with Roger right next to him, but they've already dropped the goal. And look, those flat cannon shots going over there. Monet tries to push back some of the back line of VP, but his BKB activating. He's got to get out of here. Waveform, and he's totally out of mana right now. Fortunately, there is a shrine available, but Ramsey's just not going to slow down whatsoever. You saw him immediately try and get vision and hunt for more. No one was not able to find anybody with that. That was a very clean retreat considering how aggressive VP was being there. Maybe not clean enough though. The Invis rune, is he gonna go for a random tornado? Get the dispel? No.
This is where I feel like you would have wanted the Midas, by the way.
And now that the game, like RNG has successfully slowed down the game,
yeah,
you're no longer getting those kills. Jump forward, trying to go for the fast kill on a solo, gets him, and jumps away to his orb. There is still the missile that's going to follow him. Give them an idea, but honestly, Puck is such a mobile hero. So there's the presence of that Dagon 5. The first real good showing of it. He's going to be doing that all game against the Shadow Demon on Nile.
They want to fight again with their BKBs.
Yeah, they already got a pick off on one. Make it a 4 versus 5. If they get the right kind of pick off, they can take Roshan for themselves. There it is. Oh, he missed the Dream Coil right as Pasha blinked.
He might not know though, because
but he may not know.
He doesn't.
And Lanham is going to be able to get on top of him. Heavy amount of burst damage. Impetus, Dagon 5, Monet.
In a way, it sort of accomplished the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was ideal, but you know, he still died. So like, you can kind of tell yourself, Setsu's not having the, like, he's farming a lot, but he's not having the best game. But
listen, he's just about to pop off. He's got his Dagon 5. He's making his way to his level 25 pretty soon as well.
I mean, for sure, I can
so
feel
the
it.
420 GPM is going to get him 6 slotted.
It's just funny that
yeah. No, this has definitely not been. I will have a newfound respect though for Pucks. If he actually manages to showcase, like, that's a nice pick. They can actually get it solo with the Glimmer Cape, but they've got the dust to be able to reveal him because they always have a dust against this Invoker. Tornado's going to come in, though. That's going to be able to buy the Shattered even a lot of time. Soul's going to be fine. Gets the Soul Catcher, which makes Lana very squishy to burn through. And RNG had to give up on that Roshan. And if
how
anything,
low did they get it?
VP.
Oh, they just did it.
They might just try and take advantage of it.
Pop right in.
See,
well,
oh, yeah.
Don't
and
mind if I
Alacrity
do.
Gyrocopter can make short work of that one.
Don't mind if I do, Cap.
Oh, dear.
That is so nice for them.
Yeah.
Just randomly a half HP Roshan.
Oh, and now they're going to try and catch more. No, and once again, just like the last Roshan, right? Flyby, he knows. He was being slowed down by the Invoker. He's like, the rest of them are going to be here soon. Just play it safe. BKB, TP out. Setsu's already on his way, pushing out the top lane. And Afu might even try and Fatal Bonds and Shadow Word the bottom lane just to get it a little bit of push. So VP's not going to have immediate map control, won't be able to jump for objectives right away. Need to address this split push. Oh, he's got it. It has begun. The inevitable timer has started. As the Warlock has gotten his level 15, so now 20 and 25 are going to happen.
Oh, it just hits.
Yeah. Almost looks like Monet is mocking Ramses. Yeah, you're real cool. Running your fingers through your hair. One death to 4. You can see just how little Monet has participated in these fights with below 5k hero damage.
That's okay, because if he ends up winning.
Yeah. He went for the CDR over the waveform attack talent, which I guess I could see against Io Gyro. That would be the only reason I would see the waveform attacks targets for this game, but look at that. The sentry thrown down even before the obs is placed.
You saw the Lincolns pick up, right? By the gyro?
Oh, is that what he's got now?
Yeah.
You know, I can kind of dig it because he's got a Quaswix Invoker. Like, he doesn't have the best levels, but he's still going to be getting a decent chunk of damage from the Alacrity.
Yeah, plus he has
given
Solar
to him.
Crest.
Yeah.
Like, can only use...
Courier, though. Whoa. Well, that's not good. I can't believe this offlane tower is still alive. It goes to show we are still in the meta where sometimes these offlane towers are just... They live for an absurdly long amount of time.
What do you think is in that giant, like, jewel thing in his head?
It's the stored up energy for his illusory orb.
I see. I like that explanation.
See, I'm not Grant. I won't I won't bullshit you with something that you can't actually believe, but I'll still bullshit you. I have no idea what's in that orb.
You did sound kind of confident. I mean, that's most of life, man.
I mean, that is our success as a casting pair.
What? Maybe yours. Like,
Just being confident.
just being confident?
Yeah.
Nah, dude, I've got crippling self-doubt.
Yes, but the important thing is you just don't project it
Hmm.
to the audience. You just act like you know exactly what's happening in this game. I mean, you know how confidently I said AFO multiple times?
Yeah.
Because, you know, like when,
I mean,
doing,
I'd like to
when
say
you're doing
that.
play-by-play, you see names on the screen and you just call it.
Oh, he is fast.
Yeah, he's zooming. He's zooming around. Tornado goes out, trying to grab somebody. They're going to make sure they get this side of bounties because they figure RNG is already locked down the other side.
You know, I thought I knew a lot about Dota, and then I got my ass beat by an AI in like 10 minutes twice.
Yeah. To be fair, though, that AI has played literally eons of Dota more than you, so. And this is always what happens with the offlane tower. Eventually, a team is
just
strong
dies
enough
instantly.
that they go, oh, we're going to take that offlane tier 1 and tier 2. Everyone always does it in one fell swoop.
Dude, look at this Alacrity Solar Crest.
Yeah. This guy...
Okay, there's no more split pushing, guys. Come back, come back.
Yeah. Like, you guys got to get set
No,
up
seriously.
right now. Where's Lana at? We need the toss. There you go, Blade.
Oh, look at that. It's the blue.
What's the...
It looks like a really funny version of the gyro. Because he's like, look at him.
Oh, yes, I see.
It makes it crystal clear who's who, by the way.
I do appreciate that part of it. remember that game we were casting, a game where we had Morph and Rubik in the game, and there would be like 3 different of the same spell going on?
It was so confusing.
I had no idea what was going on in fights. But again, I just called it with confidence, you know, and it worked. Good dream coil. Getting a pick off on solo.
E-Blade Dagon.
The
Let's see if
E-Blade
this
Dagon
is
combo.
actually effective aside from just killing the SD.
Yeah. You didn't have the E-Blade Enchantress synergy, but you do have the E-Blade Sensu Dagon. Wait, are you going to get a, you're just going to go right-click build for Morph now, right? You're not going to go and E-Blade yourself?
No, I think
Okay.
you go butter. I think especially against these types of heroes, you just want the ability to continuously hit
Okay.
over going for any sort of like magic burst. Because the magic burst against this Invoker build, I don't think is as good.
So you're going to go Butterfly and then, what, Satanic?
Yeah, same with like,
MKB.
for example, like the Tide can like crack it off
Yeah.
a lot of times too. So I think just being able to like continuously hit is usually better against these heroes.
Just have to outlast this timing of the Black Cannon plus catch 2 there. They do have the cheese as well as the mech though on Roger, so they need to be able to control him but burst him down. That's exactly what they do. He immediately buys back though because if they got the Aegis on the gyro, he can get here super fast. He's already relocated in to help get the kill onto Lana, which no one, that was actually a really nice ice wall there. Still, it's a Aegis down. Buyback used on Roger, all for a lot of tiny. I'm not going to say I'm too disappointed if I'm RNG.
It's still one of those traits that like, it feels weird. Because they had a blow, what feels like a lot, right? But
Yeah.
at at the same time. I think that benefited VP
Yeah. You know why?
because they were able to hold. They were able to hold. They were able to hold Ravage.
Yeah. That's true. They are still in really good fighting shape.
Oh god, going high ground against Enchantress is so miserable.
But, you know, he's got...
Wow, this tower is dying.
Golio behind him, who, by the way, has been stocking up Fairy Fires. Apparently healing cells are not the play. It's Fairy Fires.
For the instant snap.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
I like it. That's pretty chill. He's got one in his backpack even.
There's 3 different instances of it is.
They gotta get to Roger. They really have to burst down Roger, but there's the initiation from Paja with the scythe leading out Monet. Doesn't get the chance to be able to morph that strength. Lanham is still going for Roger, but doesn't actually have enough. Roger is still fine, has a Fairy Fire still left. Is that gonna save him? No, that E-Blade is certainly enough, but Monet was forced to buy back here. It's already taken a lot of damage.
He's dead again.
He's dead again!
That's just over now.
That is just the game potentially, as now the Sunstrike to be able to finish him off. Setsu is still dead thanks to that scythe. Ultra kill for Ramses. They take the mid lane of Rax and they're gonna push for more. They know that Morphling is representative of so much damage and carry potential for RNG as soon as he is dead permanently.
92 seconds on the deck. I mean, they just cut through him so fast.
Yeah. Jump into the back line. Lanham trying to go for solo. They do manage to get the pick up on the support, but again, that side the fight just keeps on catching that puck. He just doesn't stand a chance against Pasha's Scythe of Vice pickup, and that is it. GG is called. RNG stalled it out, but VP knew they only needed just 2 fights. That's all they need to be able to end the game.
And they did that in a hurry, too.
Yeah, they did.
That was like, no hesitation. We bursted you. Life's over. Move on to the next one.
You know what I liked about this VP lineup is all the damage, like, accelerators. So we had the Alacrity for the Gyrocopter, which makes him just so much stronger. You already have the IL. And then you've got even the Time, who, with his minus armor from the Gush and Flat Cannon, it's like one of those things you know you just can't get away. So nicely played by VP, especially that last pick. Quaswex Invoker, I mean, no one tore up this game.
We also saw, by the way, like the Tide Ravage thing
Yeah.
that I was talking about. It's so hard to. It's actually harder than you think to dodge in that position, because if you press it too early at that point, your hero's useless, and if you press it too late, obviously you've already been ravaged.
Yeah, and I mean, the Scythe was also like just a brilliant idea from Pasha to be able to go for that as his big ticket late game item. 40 minutes almost on the dot. That's all it takes for Virtus Pro to be able to bring down RNG. I'll have to see. Was there any drafting flaws in your head? Because we saw the OG Na'Vi, and we saw how OG dominated the first game, but Na'Vi were able to change certain things for their draft, set themselves up with a better laning phase, and actually found success in game 2. What would you say RNG needs?
For their draft,
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about draft. Like, I don't want to speak like ultra confidently on that, because
Okay.
I felt like there was some balance to it. I just felt like Setsu really got outplayed.
Okay.
Like, I think he got, and that's
And
more
the
just
bottom-
like
and the
no one
bottom
being as
fight.
good as he
Right.
is, because he
Yeah.
just met him at like every turn.
Yeah.
He's like, I find you here, I find you here, I find you here. Because I was telling you, like, it matters what, who blinks first. And oftentimes Setsu is like, oh, I guess I have to go gank. And no one would just continue to farm, and then you TP, counter the gank. You
Yeah.
get a kill on the punk himself. And that bottom fight, yeah. That bottom engagement was pretty ruinous to them. They took that fight under such weird circumstances, too. Like, they got aggressive.
It was so weird how confident they were
Yeah, they
about
were-
it.
We're going to
like,
win this 3-on-5.
Monet's not here. Setsu has been picked off, but we still got this. We got Golem and Flyby, right?
And then they just proceeded to get wrecked. And
Yeah.
then once they lost that bottom tower, I think the game actually really opened up.
All right, well, game 2 is on its way. We'll see what RNG changes up and see whether or not they can even out this series 1-1. We'll be back after the break. Virtus Pro versus Royal Never Give Up. Game 2, VP taking game 1, I would say, confidently. Didn't really feel like they had too many hiccups.
No, that was pretty straightforward.
Yeah. So hopefully RNG are going to be able to give us a better showing if they're going to win the International as Kyle predicted. Because I don't think somebody brought up an interesting stat. There's never been a team that has won TI that came out in the bottom 4 of the groups. Nobody's gone like straight from the losers bracket in playoffs and all the way through. Everyone has always started at least in the top
Even if
half
they
of the
got
bracket.
bounced immediately
Yeah,
down. Yeah.
including newbie, right? Who were in that awkward situation where they're lower down in the groups, but made their way through the bubble bracket to get to the upper half of the playoffs.
That
So,
makes sense. I think I actually knew that.
yeah, it's a nice little. So
You know,
it
before
goes to show the group stage. You know, there are a lot of crazy stuff that happens, but like a lot changes after the group stage, but the winner is still usually coming out of that pool.
I think it was
Or
like
it's always been
until
coming
last
out
year or
of
the
pool.
year before that, Fly and No Tail had never won a best of 3 at TI.
Really?
Yes, that was a real stat.
Yeah, Fnatic had a lot of bad showings at TIs.
Yeah, and
They're
then,
always one of those teams that like people would cheer for, and they were like, I think this year they're gonna show up good, and then they just didn't.
then OG got bounced every like randomly after that by what team is that? TNC.
Yeah.
Jimmy Ho.
Yeah.
What's
That's
your
the
favorite
squad.
Nickelback song?
What? Probably.
It's
I mean, I literally
there's
I can
only
only
one
think of
answer.
one, and that's Photograph. So
Oh.
I can only think of one song right now.
What about Remind Me?
Oh. Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Those are the only 2 Nickelback songs I know.
5 seconds remaining.
Look at this photograph. We're waiting on the first pick. Enchantress not going to make it through. RNG apparently. It looked okay until that Quaswex Invoker just started dumpstering him. And then he got the BKB, but by then it felt like they were already like several steps behind.
What, the Ench?
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of different heroes. No Warlock, no Shadow Demon this time around either.
I mean, the Ench looked really good until they thought it was quite literally the second coming of Christ returned to the earth. Like, I don't know what they thought they were doing.
really put it to the test. All right, is RNG going to give up the Wish Gyrocopter?
I mean, my man was
Who's-
looking like a crash test dummy out there, and they did not seem to change anything.
Yeah. It's like, I got a Warlock behind me. Let's go, baby.
This heal for 30 per second, that'll outdamage them, right? And Afu just looks at him and he's like, yeah, like,
5
yes.
seconds remaining.
Like, what do you want me to say?
We'll win this 3v5, right? I guess.
They must have been imagining some very sick Fatal Bonds Golem to be dropped in that fight.
I mean, I think it was, and they still got stomped.
Do you, why was Morph, like, just left out there? Is Morph not as good of a counter against Wish Gyro as he used to be?
RNG.
I don't know, man. This is the VP thing to do, right?
Okay.
It's a very VP thing to do, is if you can't beat it the first game,
Yeah.
I think they're very unique in this regard, actually.
Virtus Pros.
It's, because a lot of teams would rather give some team, like, a different look.
And they hit him with the Luna instead.
Yeah. Luna's just a better gyro, dude. This is what they really wanted last game.
Is it really a better gyro? Because Luna has been in the dumpster for a while.
Nah, I recently played her, and I actually went 3-15.
As opposed to like 1 in 18 that used to
Yeah,
be.
it's like, we're trending upwards right now, fam. I like how you thought that was gonna have like
yeah, I really thought
got
you
you
were going to
good
give
there.
me. Yeah, you really got me on that one. Well, hopefully the Io Luna is a combo that will make Luna look like a better hero. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, is Gyrocopter going to look like a good hero without the Io? Because
survey says
Survey-
uncertain.
we've got the two 3 and 15 cores looking at us right now. A Gyro with without an IO.
No, I think
And
gyro without
Luna at
IO is
all.
actually not like terrible. And honestly, if any hero can make Luna work, it's IO.
Okay.
Right? I mean, you give her.
Yeah.
What are her weaknesses?
Giving
Sustain.
bursted down.
Yeah, laning phase. Like,
Yeah. Laning phase.
and then control. But you know, when you pick Luna, gyro, or when you pick like IO lineups in general, don't worry, you'll get control.
RNG, they have a different response to the IO with the Elder Titan pickup. I think Gyro's also, like, theoretically, right? He should be good versus these IO lineups. You used to see it, right? Where he would just throw the missile at the IO. You always had the flat cannon shots that are probably going to be hitting the IO. Maybe your ultimate as well.
I mean, in theory, the cool part about this is that RNG gets like 2 different ways to like test their quote-unquote theories, right?
Yeah.
The first time was let it through. Let's see how that goes. The second time is don't let it through. That went terribly. They're just picking run at you heroes. This is great.
Have you been a big fan of the Ogre cores, which is probably what we're going to be seeing here? 'Cause I think that's a 4-position Mirana, 3 Ogre, and a 5.
I straight up
ET.
think they should nerf this hero's armor.
Yeah.
Or like don't let him buy more than like 1 mango at a time.
There's now a buy limit on mangoes.
Yeah, but just for Ogre.
Just for Ogre. He goes to the mango store. He sees everybody, all the other 5s and 4s just walking away with 3 or 4 mangoes. Shopkeep's like, no, just 1 for you.
Any reason in particular? No. Just 1 for you.
Axe is always a good answer to Gyro. Not sure if it really does that well against ET or Ogre. It's good versus Mirana.
What is this like stuff dripping from Bane?
It's the Ichor. It's the Ichor of Niktasha.
Is it really?
That's what he says.
That's so gross looking.
Yeah.
That's so much.
I mean, he's a literal nightmare come to life. Like, of course he's gonna be gross. Honestly, he's probably not gross enough.
I can see that this is just a real design principle that this. Okay, I'm just gonna try not to focus on it. Honestly, at this point, he's expended like liters of this stuff.
It is really coming out just like a
Yeah, it just
steady
won't stop.
waterfall.
I've been looking at it for like 2.5 minutes, hoping that eventually it would. And it's just drawing my eyes to it because no other hero is being picked. Alright, so Axe is. I mean, it's not a bad response to like the gyro and stuff like that, right? Because
Yeah.
Blade Mail is always going to be effective.
Yeah.
And okay, so one Kyle prediction that actually sounded okay was the whole like Mirana being picked the most thing.
Mm-hmm.
That seems kind of legit.
I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but I honestly feel like this is a hero that's going to be like a group stage. Like, people are like, oh, yeah,
It'll get
Mirana's the
figured out.
thing. And then, like, eventually we're just. I mean, come on. There's so many weaknesses to the 4-position Mirana. Just don't get hit by arrow.
Don't get hit by arrow, lol.
Just dodge the arrow.
Isn't that like? There's a lot of ways that you could say stuff like that though. Like, don't get hit by Kata Blast. He literally stands there channeling that.
Yeah, but Kata Blast is like, 5 times the width of arrow.
I mean, arrow's deadly.
Also, Coddle's not being big, so maybe that says something.
Yeah, but it's like you could say, don't get hit by ET ults. Don't get hit by call down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are other factors involved, Cap. People
Okay.
can get stunned and stuff.
Okay, but I guess my point is that she feels very dependent on that arrow. To be able
Sure,
to make
but,
things
like,
work.
Okay, that's a silly statement. That's like saying like, oh, we suddenly removed flat cannon from gyro. And you're like, gyro relies on flat cannon. Now Ogre has no stun. Like, what do you want, man?
No, like
Like-
ET, for example, as support is always going to get his job done. He's always going to throw his
No,
spirit around, hit people,
Your logic
and then
is
punch
just bad
things.
here. I want to support you. I really do.
All right, well, we'll see. We'll see.
I want
We'll
to
see what
support
happens
you.
in the playoffs.
I want to support you in everything that you do, and like, really.
Wait, so you're back in Kyle. You're saying 4-position Mirana is the future.
It's like I don't want
it's gonna
to.
stay the future.
I really don't want to back Kyle here. And this is coming from somebody who had a room with them recently for like 3 weeks. You know, I that man's my brother, but like, I don't want to agree with him here.
They
But
went back to
I
it.
agree with him here. I'd rather agree with him here than you, and that tells you something, Austin.
The Invoker, which I'm kind of feeling an Exort Invoker for this game. I mean, the Quaswex Invoker looked really good from no one, so I won't blame them whatsoever if they go
No.
back to it. But I'm kind of digging an Exort Invoker this
You know
game.
why? Because of the tiny circle
5
that
seconds
Bane and
remaining.
Axe forces you into.
Yes.
That's legitimately what you're thinking.
I just think they have nice heroes to set it up.
You may now select your heroes.
All right, now maybe with an OD, maybe you're supposed to go Quaswex.
This is such a VP thing to do. If they were like, if Puppy did this and he ever lost, people would just call him arrogant.
Yeah.
You know, the whole thing. It's like, oh, that's a sick Luna mount, by the way. Big fan of that.
I'm glad you're happy with it.
Oh, look, dude, look at that Murana. The mount is so, like, it's so fluffy looking. It looks like your cat.
Yeah, but you hate cats.
What? I don't hate cats. I hate
You
your
hate-
cat. I think your cat looks dumb as
My
hell.
cat is adorable, and Blitz hates my cat. I don't know why.
'Cause it's got just like a kind of like a chubby looking face. I don't know. Something about it like PTSDs me.
This last big OD, is it a game winner?
It's hard to say. It could be.
Okay. I will tell you in their qualifiers, they won 6 out of 8 of their games with OD.
Okay.
A solid 75% win rate in a very tough qualifying region. In fact, OD was actually the most banned by the opponent teams throughout the qualifiers. That was everybody's go-to ban against RG was OD. All right, we'll see. Hopefully it's enough for RNG, because last game was definitely a little one-sided. It felt like VP was kind of running the show after once that no one Invoker came online, man.
Dude, it did not take him very long to come online either.
Yeah.
He came online instantly.
He made, it was funny, he like made the first rotation. You were talking about the, you know, who's gonna blink between the mids and like who's gonna rotate and who's gonna just TP in and counter initiate. And no one was the first to move out, but he didn't actually find an opening to commit to a kill. And then every rotation after that was actually made by Setsu. No one was the one responding, hitting him with Tornado EMP after he'd already used his orb. Are we gonna have to try lane for VP against this Ogre Murana duo?
I think so. I think otherwise, like,
30
you're never
seconds
gonna
to
right click out the Murana or
Yeah.
the Ogre.
And I guess you've got like I think you have enough confidence to Pasha to be able to cut waves against an Elder Titan. I don't think Elder Titan can stop that well enough. We'll see, but remember Wu was doing this every game? The very deep cut behind
Yes.
the Moo was the first person I saw doing this.
Dude,
Where he
but
goes to the
everybody-
top left corner, cuts all the way through to behind the tier 2 area. So he's going to skip out on the very first wave and then all of a sudden pop out, hitting the second wave. And honestly, that timing is really important because if the supports aren't there against you right away, if you get the full wave, no denies, that gets you to level 2. And then the battle against the support that's trying to keep you out is much easier.
Okay.
Nice arrow to be land. Roger, he may have picked up that bounty rune, but it's going to cost him his life here. His flyby is going to be the one to get the first blood.
I'm starting to notice a trend with flyby. This guy just likes to pick heroes that can run and fight you.
Yes.
No holds barred. Okay, please learn from last game though. If you get like a 3-minute hood for whatever reason, or like a mech, it doesn't mean you're invincible, friend.
Yeah.
It just means you're strong.
Look at Afu. He's looking all over the place. So Afu is kind of wise to what is Pasha going for here, which is skipping out on the first wave, trying to cut. And he's going to try and get here right away. If you can deny even just one creep, that means he doesn't get level 2 right away, and then he doesn't start keeping you out with Battle Hunker.
That was so ambitious.
Yeah, a little bit.
From like a straight angle too is the funniest part.
Pasha He's just going to keep going around here and try and group up the creep waves, I think. I'm not sure if you TP out at some point. Oh, man, he popped out under the tier 2 area. Oh, Jesus, Pasha.
Pasha?
I don't know what he expected. Maybe he didn't realize where he was on the map. I'm not sure if that was the place to cut down into the lane. Literally right into the tier 2. Well, Flyby is doing something similar here, though he can't actually kill the creep wave. He's just trying to pull it all the way around. Keep it away from any of the neutral camps that can be pulled. Go all the way around. Meanwhile, our mid lane matchup, look at that. No one already has Exort. William.
Dude, I didn't doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying, I know why you think that.
Yeah.
I thought
and
it was
right.
adorable.
And I was right.
What logic?
Thank you.
Nah, you know, I'll give you props for that.
Oh, nice arrow. He probably had his screen not looking anywhere in that direction.
Nobody ever does, sir.
Nobody ever does, Lana. It's what? Two for 3?
Yeah.
2 out of 3 arrows.
I mean, the one miss was funny.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like fly, and it just completely whiffed. No one even gave him the tip because he didn't have to have the setup.
Well, no one's not going to be feeling great about that because he was already a little bit behind in CS against that OD solo. A little bit low here is a hefty creep push coming in. They're going to try and catch Pasha, though. Pasha already having the missile on him.
Only level 2 right now. I mean, you told me this was fine.
I imagined it was going to be fine, but then the Mirana was willing to rotate. And I think that definitely makes a difference. I just figured the ET by himself wouldn't be able to force Pasha out.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. Does it, though? I feel like the ET's not bad either. He's like probably one of the few melee supports that doesn't struggle like impossibly hard.
Yeah.
You know, I tried during the Axe meta where like there was offlane Axe every game. I started picking Timber
Yeah.
as a support.
Yeah. Oh. Well, that's a terrible idea.
It was so that I could just like walk up and queue him.
How'd that work for you?
That one was actually one of my worst ideas.
Yeah, I don't need to see that one in action to tell you
thought it
that's
was,
a
like,
terrible idea.
18 layers deep into like some genius theory that like pros just hadn't thought of.
You thought you had done the galaxy brain move?
Yeah, but I was way too smooth.
Junior 3 RNG. Do have the slight lead. Flyby is going to be pretty happy. 3 range creeps pushing into his tower. Meanwhile, Pasha just keeps on getting shoved away. That is the big advantage, is that the homing missile, in a weird way, the range and delayed reaction of homing missile actually just makes it really difficult for you to commit for cutting these creep waves. And Monet's just not letting up. I really like the way they're shutting down this Axe.
Dude, he's level 2 right now.
Yeah.
And he's trying to drag it to the next creep wave so that he can get more spin. Oh, he actually dies to neutrals.
Wow, that is really unfortunate for RNG.
I don't actually think it matters that much. What did you just lose there? Like a little bit of XP and 120 gold? He's level 2.
I like
he
what
was, like,
Afu
level
did.
4.
You see Afu in the top left? He actually just caught the creep wave, and then he just pulled it around in circles. So they're still going to maintain that creep equilibrium, or at least try to. Unfortunately, it got underneath the tower when Monet showed up. But the idea was to keep the creep equilibrium so Axe is not going to get anything free fed to him. And Pasha has actually given up on trying to cut the creep waves. He's now committed to doing some neutraling, but Lanham, he has an invis. Unfortunately, doesn't actually spot Pasha in time. So that's going to be an invis opportunity, a bit wasted. Speaking of neutrals, Rogers full-time committing to his stacking and clearing. As all these wisps are want to do. Ooh. The imprisonment, the Force Spirit is out though. He's going to protect himself against that. Nicely done. No one making the adjustment right away. 1 death is all he needs to learn. Not going to let that happen twice.
Early 3-0 lead, as you know, despite you saying he was going to go for the Exort, he has still gone back for his previous item build.
Yeah. So,
Pretty curious.
do you think you just want 2 levels of Exort? Do you need that extra damage against, maybe it's just the Force Spirit?
Potentially. It does help him CS a lot.
Yeah.
Normally, like, when you're against an OD and you're struggling, you just pick heroes that can throw things on the ground.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking just the Forge Spirit to protect against this Imprisonment Arrow combo. Right? Because, like, what other options do you have as an Invoker to deal with that?
Yeah, true.
I think that's the only one. That's a pretty cool idea. I like that. Flyby is going to die here as our Solo, rather. With this Haste Rune, is just going to keep pace, giving the vision over to Ramses to make sure they get that kill, even with being hit by an arrow. There's no real fear of death here. Pasha is beginning to find some farm, but it's at the cost of totally giving up this lane to RNG, and they're actually going to be able to take an offlane tower at 7 minutes in.
This just speaks volumes to about how hard Pasha's been shut down.
Yeah.
And like what a concerted effort they've made just to ruin this game.
Yeah.
And I think the thing about playing offlane nowadays, in my personal opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, like there's one of 2 ways you can cover it, where you can like hard try to do this to him, where you keep the axe down as like much as you possibly can, keep him as low level, force him to jungle and stuff like that, or you don't even bother half the time. You just like let him do it. Your
Yes.
support cells go do other things. This game, they've hard committed to ruining his game.
I totally agree. Half measures do not work against the axe cutting creep waves.
Yeah. Because eventually he'll just get hits.
Yeah.
But like, if you hard commit like this,
You maintain that low level, making it easier and easier for supports to have an impact. If you do the half measure, the problem is that this axe will get like a level or 2 ahead of you, and you as 1 or 2 supports just do not have the impact so much on him anymore. But keeping him at the same level as you nonstop, you're not afraid of his battle hunger, you're ready to fight him as much as possible.
plus, I think this hero doesn't love just pure jungling, right? That's one of the things too.
Yeah,
Like, you
right
can
away you
jungle,
don't
but
like it.
It's
Yeah.
like Darkseer, where you have a function of jungling, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't feel that good.
Yeah, when you first saw Pasha in the jungle, like that's how you know his laning phase went terrible, because you were talking about it, right? Like the jungle, it just doesn't give you as much as it
No.
used to, especially in the experience category, and Axe needs that experience.
I think that's partially why like heroes like Huskar are just not seen as much anymore either,
Yeah.
because that was actually something like BSJ taught me. It was really cool listening to him speak about Huskar, because he was like, oh, and again, they're just gonna straight up ruin. Like, this is not a half measure. They did not negotiate.
No, not at all. We do not negotiate with axes, apparently.
What does he have? Pasha. This man is so poor. He straight up has gone back 2 patches.
Yeah, he's gone Tranquil Boots. He's like, Phase Boots is... That's out.
He got knocked so hard in the head that he's like, it's 7.0?
He got knocked into 2 patches ago.
They slapped him silly.
He's got 1 more charge. Should be fine. And yeah, I mean, there's a big difference between the mids, too. The OD had a pretty massive CS lead, you can see in the net worth as well. 4,300 net worth compared to the 3K of the Invoker. So they dumpstered Pasha. They won mid really, really hard.
Dude, this feels like a very, oh my lord.
The stomp into Arrow. Lonham's Reign of Terror just continues against VP.
Oh,
Just dodge the arrow, guys. What's going on? Call? Okay, Roger's going to be able to help you out, yes, but they're not going to be able to get any damage onto the Gyrocopters. Instead, they're going to have to go for flyby here. And Gyrocopter Buddy's actually going to come back in with that ultimate. That'll be enough to be able to save the Ogre and get the kill onto Roger. The sleep goes out, immediately woken up by the Elder Titan as quick as he can get there.
Remember when you literally told me that Mirana shouldn't work, though?
It'll get figured out. Just trust.
It's not one of those good
Just
heroes.
trust.
You know what? Okay, so what genuinely, like, not even trying to troll, like, what makes her really broken in that sense is that, like, U+1 stun is a guaranteed, like, 6-second lockdown.
Yeah.
There's no real other hero that can do that for you with her level 1 ability, right?
Yeah. And you don't have it, like any of those good saves against it here in this game. So.
In the right circumstances, I actually think that Mirana's sick good. Right there, you just saw, like, the Luna got popped. This is a very different VP than the one that we've been seeing, by the way.
Yeah.
The normal VP that we see is like very lane, win the lane, get 2 towers, Roshan, end the game in like 20 minutes.
Yes.
And this feels like a very different VP. It feels like they're trying something out. Because they've always for me been like we're gonna break you by the 20-minute mark because, you know, you're down like 8k gold.
Yeah.
That's always been.
We're going to win the lanes. We're going to use that lane advantage to take towers faster than you.
Yeah, and then just blitz you all over the map.
And
This is even like last game was a little bit slower than, you know, they're just farming a lot more.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying something new, or like they're not trying to just like bash their heads against the wall, like being in a meta like that. But it is something to consider for teams. This is not your usual VP as, oh boy, if Pasha died again, they've really concentrated on ruining his game. I can't ever really fault an offlaner when this happens.
Yeah.
That usually means your other 2 lanes were supposed to succeed. But they have Bane IO, so like it wasn't even like they could punish the other lane.
He can't even ask no one to go around creating space for him because no one's lane did not go very well.
Yeah, no one's now committed for this, like, I guess he's not like hard committed for it, but
He's got to get the Spirit Vessel. Get a kill somewhere so he can get some charges, and then he might be able to have some impact. But RNG, they're reading this timing. They're going to try and potentially catch no one, if not go for that mid-tier 1 tower. But he did read. Arrow comes out. Roger still taking a lot of Starstorm damage, and it's probably going to be enough. He does have the tether up, actually, but oh, can he get away? He tries to chase him. The Mirana, a couple of shots, but now he's been caught by the tornado. Cold snapped up, EMP burned out. The missile lands onto Roger, but it's not enough. But neither is it enough to be able to finish off that Mirana. Top lane, Ramses, that's twice now he's been up alone in this lane and has died for it.
the benefit of having that tower, I think, at a healthy-ish HP region, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty healthy before.
Yeah, it was at like half before he started hitting it like crazy. That's an easy defense. Because they've taken this bottom lane, there doesn't have to be a trade anymore, Cap.
Yeah.
There's no like, oh, you take bottom, we take top, like, shake your hands on it.
Well, this is going to be rough because VP still have not really hit their timings. I think this timing has got to come with a Blink Dagger, and then maybe they can go for, you know, that setting up the, oh, look at this stomp, Afu. Now, the OD is a ways away, so Afu, I don't think you're doing anything here.
Pasha's so conditioned in like death there that he just ran. He didn't even consider the possibility that, like, why is the ET running from me?
He probably told his team, he was like, I'm dead.
No, okay, so we've been seeing a lot of like
5.
casual bracers and stuff.
Yeah.
This guy is not even trying to get that casual bracer anymore.
Why is that? Is it because they want the relocate?
Oh, man, he's got tranquils. I think he thinks his game is. Oh, here we go though, the comeback.
All right.
Let me tell you, by the way, my predictions.
Yes.
Were all wrong.
Roger. Oh no! He tried to get the tether away, but it is immediately fire blasted by Flyby.
God, it is so annoying to play against Mirana as a support. Because also the lead mechanic is, it's so unique. You know, most supports don't just get their own get out of jail free card.
Yes. There's very few out there that can do that.
So I had player with the most kills in 10 minutes as Pasha, thinking like he'll dunk.
Yeah. Hey, at least you got first up by a Blink Dagger.
That one was
Who else-
almost impossible to miss.
Who else gets a Blink Dagger in this game?
Ogre and OD.
Yeah,
Plus the Mirana will get one too.
but not fast.
Yes.
No, nobody's thinking about that in their first 2 items.
Solo? Did they all get one? That's not good.
They made it 2-12. VP getting shot out by RNG. This is quite the turn of fates here.
Yeah, it feels like I'm watching the game in reverse. Okay, so maybe Gyro is just great, and Luna's just not. You know, she continues to be very mediocre.
Yeah. It was also a little weird that Ramses died twice without the IO being with him. Like, aren't you just supposed to be running around using your Mask of Madness to kill creep waves and neutral camps really fast?
I thought they were going to play the same game
Yeah.
this last game. And this time around, they've actually leveraged their really strong, tanky offlaner into, like, a good position. Whereas, like, last game, I felt like they I mean, they didn't really do anything with it. They just stuck them in the safe lane, and then they took like 4 bad fights in a row.
Yeah.
This time around, like they're much more willing to go for the 5-man or like the 4-man, roll through the jungle to take mid tower together.
Nice Fiend's Grip. Tornado EMP, lots of damage. The arrow's coming out, but not gonna land. And that may not be enough. He managed to get the imprisonment off. Why is Pasha committed for that kill? The tornado will land, though. It actually sets himself up just to die to no one instead. But at least Pasha will be the trade-off. Yes, I'm pretty sure Pasha is fully committed. About 10 minutes ago, he just was like, all right, this is going to be a blink and die game. I'm just going to be blinking and calling people and dying every single time.
So far, he's 100% right. Like,
Yeah.
He read the situation perfectly. Part of it, though, is like the best part about Axe is like once you get Blade Mail, you sort of reset that for yourself.
No one hanging around. He's going to try and set up this relocate that's coming in. And Monet will indeed die. So that'll help get Ramses and Rogers back into it a little bit and the experience of that kill. That is the nice part. The sustain and such, and like Luna's so fast at being able to farm neutral camps that if they can just keep a pace of relocate, get a kill, farm.
Yeah.
Just
And the
rinse
fact
and
that
repeat.
she's died like she has in this game, and she's still leading like she is in net worth, like speaks volumes about like how fast this hero can potentially farm.
And it says volumes about Gyro's capacity to farm without the IO, right? It's like the only reason he's close is because they're so far ahead in kills and towers.
But it's still only 5-4 to 13. It's just a very different VP than
Yeah,
the one we expect.
very different.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures.
Straight for the mech. Ooh, the pick off on the courier. And he's gonna still get it. That should have been flown out of his vision a lot faster.
Radiant structures are falling.
That's not gonna be fun. Little stuff like that, that's gonna chip away at RNG's lead.
Dire's top tower
You know, you may have the net worth lead, but if you can't actually get the items into your inventory, then game's pretty much dead even when it comes to these fights. They're trying to set up for the push right now. At the bottom tier 2, they have the Gyro and Mirana, who are gonna just kind of push in that mid lane a little bit and rotate down. Make this a full 5-man, knowing that they're probably stronger right now and they have to be afraid of the no one Invoker setting up. I mean, that was a big problem, right? The Quaswex Invoker that no one displayed last game, he was getting so many pickoffs. And in part because RNG was not playing a whole lot of 5-man.
has fallen. Dire's top tower
So here in this game, when they're 5,000 net worth up, it's like, just group up and go for that tower.
Who do you think is going to win this game?
I feel like it's RNG. For me, it's like 60-40. But we'll see. We're about to see an Axe Luna, and I don't know if that's good or not. It is pretty incredible, damage-wise, but
I think it's really good when the enemy doesn't have any like hard way to kite you.
yeah.
And I think
And
it's
no,
also
no like pipe and stuff
Yeah.
like that, like heavy sustain items.
plus like even though there's a BKB, those heroes are like relatively static. I think it's not the worst pickup I've ever seen. In fact.
On him, going for the fast pickoff onto Solo. Triple leaps his way to make sure he gets in range of the Yule Scepter, and it doesn't even result in the kill.
Dude, he threw that arrow like from not very far at all.
Yeah, and it's only a level 2 arrow because he's gotten more levels in Leap, because if you only go 1 level of Leap and you use your triple charges like that, it feels terrible.
Yeah, you're
Because
just
the
out of
recharge
commission
time
for
is so
okay,
slow.
can you imagine if Solo died after that?
Yeah. But Solo is actually pushing pretty forward and will manage to get the Fiend's Grip on him, and RNG, they can't actually turn around fast enough to save him. All their abilities are just too slow of a reaction, nor should they go for it, especially with the relocate possibilities. It's actually a pretty clean play by RNG. Only giving up the Mirana here. Roger almost dying. Snap back on to no one, but
They're gonna
he should be
chase through.
fine with that deafening blast. Gyrocopter's going to be able to catch up to him at some point, but there's still the Ghost Swat. With maxed out Wax, you're going to be moving pretty fast.
I think the one thing they lack right now is definitive catch. Aside from like the Mirana.
Okay.
On the side of RNG. I
Yeah.
feel like it's really easy for VP to just like run circles around them. Quasix Invoker, or you just Ghost Walk as Invoker.
Yeah. Like Fire Blast is not great catch because the range is so low. Even when you get an Ether Lens and you're 100 pass range talent, it's not something you're going to feel super good about starting a fight with, you know. But it might just be enough to be able to catch Solo here. As I think he was out on perhaps a defensive warding mission, but he cut through some vision already laid out by... or actually, no. He actually didn't cut through any RNG vision. Well, Monet almost has that Aghanim Scepter. A faster BKB for him this game.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It seems like he really likes that BKB in terms of getting it early just to like secure
Yeah.
later. I don't really quite understand. It's like one of those like weird preemptive BKBs. It's like, I don't know if I'll need it, but just in case.
And it makes me wonder, like, how much of this is about the team they're facing and how much this is just going to be his style of play for this TI.
I think it might potentially be a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah.
It's like-
I definitely feel the idea that this is going to be more effective against VP than other teams. Like, if you're doing this early BKB against, like, classic EG, greedy EG who's trying
Yes.
to split you up, like, you're going to feel terrible about that item.
Or you could just run them over in like 20 minutes.
Or, yeah, that's true.
But VP, I don't know. Doesn't feel like they're a team that just loses in 20 minutes ever.
Oh, a
Oh.
three-man call with the blade mail out,
The
and that is the
blade mail.
Aghanim Scepter coming out from Afo, blowing up two. Might be able to catch Monet as well. He does have the Moonlight Shadow as well as the BKB still going up, but first he's got to get the Shrine. Roger, not hit by that arrow, but neither was he able to actually get that kill on Monet right away, but relocate over to the other side. Monet's got nowhere to run to with the Cold Snap as well as the Battle Hunger on him. He just stops and starts over and over and over again. That is a fight that VP sorely needed. Pasha coming in big time, and that is one of the things that I feel like separates good offlaners from truly great offlaners, is having just a hell of a time in the first 10-15 minutes, not getting jack all, and finding an opening like this.
I mean, that was so sick.
Yeah.
Look at that timing of that too. They were just running down that cliff all together.
I mean, that would have been an instant wipe if Une doesn't get out the BKB because they had the Aghanim Scepter for the Luna in that same timing. And it's going to get a whole lot scarier because you've got the level 20 talent coming in, the plus 125 Lucent Beam damage. Eight to 14, 3,000 net worth lead still for RNG. Blink for blink. Pasha still going to be caught, though, because there's a force snap up on Setsu that's going to be able to find him. Even if there's no arrow, there's plenty of setup. That's the thing. Nice save, though. Look at this. Solo just going for it with the Fiend's Grip there. Immediately, Setsu turns onto him, blinking forward, trying to keep Solo in place. Spots him, and will be able to just rack up intelligence for himself. Still, though, being forced to use that BKB for the 5 position, the captain of Virtus Pro. Maybe it'll secure them in Tier 2. Is Ramses.
Top tower is under
I mean, if he doesn't have his ultimate with this Aghanim's build,
are fortified.
Oh, no
he's
one
not going to be looking for a whole lot of fights. He's going to bait out that bounty rune and see if they can get the relocate. Pasha, oh, tries to go for the call, but the Gold Scepter actually out from Lanham. Can he leave himself away? Not a chance. Not with those cold snaps. And look at that. I like this a lot. Whenever these teams have the awareness to be able to go for that fast Tier 1 backdoor.
I actually don't think that RNG have enough lockdown. I think they're just going to lose because of it.
I'm beginning to think so too.
Despite the fact that they've had the gold lead, it doesn't really feel like they're like winning.
We'll see what happens here. They're going to have anything to be able to keep Ramses in place so they can fire blast him. Nice. Setsu coming in from the side. That was really big, the fact they got
that
that
was
big
greedy.
burst of damage of that hammer.
He had BKB.
Strike, that one's going to whip.
I think he just assumed that the OD wasn't going to just like hit him with the hammer like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he had no vision of him either.
They continue to just have that kind of set. That was also a weird situation where, like, again, they didn't have, like, the Wisp in position to be able to bail Ramses out.
Yeah.
A lot of that has been happening, right, in this
I think
game.
Roger's has been farming a lot this game.
Yeah. Is this, you think this is just, like, how Wisp is, like, I've seen Wisp have been farming a lot more than Classic, but this is to a different kind of level. This is the most separated Wisp I've ever seen. You can see RNG really taking a good control of the ward game this time around. I think VP had a much better control over last game. Maybe that's a bit of it. Roger. Not opting for that sustain, is going to go for the heavier damage off the Spirits, but is in trouble right now. There's no tether target. That's the thing.
He just, I mean, I feel like I've seen Roger die the same way in the same area
Yeah.
like 4 times, 3 times.
It's just such a weird VP, because I can kind of see how this is also working, because RNG is, like, in a way, they're being forced to, like, run around so much
Yeah.
to try and kill these heroes that Ramses is still getting farm and no
They're
one is still
anticipating-
finding openings.
I think what's happening really weirdly enough is that they're anticipating a fight that's never coming.
Nice. Solo. Dodging the stomp real quickly and immediately waking himself back up with the nightmare. Roger was impressed. Same goes for Pasha in these little plays. I think that's like one of the really feel-good plays is where you're able to split push like that and just see that you forced a rotation, but you still cleared out the creep wave that you wanted to go for. And that's just more time. As a result, Ramses can play a bit more aggressive in the mid lane, knowing that there's a gyrocopter that is currently not a threat to him.
And BKB picked up too.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of BKBs coming in as no one is trying to finish up his right now.
I think once you get oh, another pick.
Activates his BKB, making sure that arrow's not going to have an effect. Afu going down, but again, RNG. They don't necessarily need their Elder Titan to be able to take a fight, but I'm not so sure if they want to go on the Ramses Luna. He's got 2,000 HP, he's got BKB, and on top of that, he's got the Wisp tethered to him.
Ding, 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 mother...
10 to 18, we're gonna have to see if we're gonna have some action around these bounty runes. Or if Monet and the rest of RNG are just gonna utilize this Aegis picked up by the Tricopter just to be able to mow down the objectives and make sure VP can't leave their base anymore. 'Cause it's costing them a lot. The fact that Ramses is always able to farm up these neutral camps and push out waves. He's actually very close to the 20K marker in net worth. Leaning out, just a little cold snap Spirit Vessel combo. Just poking at the gyrocopter, seeing if they can get take away that Aegis with low commitment.
Dude, it's always so scary to go in those kinds of positions. Because if your OD just gets caught in the back line by the axe, dies, there's no hard reset. I hear BKB get pressed.
Yeah. Whoa, whose BKB was that? We'll find it. We'll find it.
It was the ODs.
It was the ODs. Yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
And that is rough.
Still relatively fresh, too.
But you can, I mean, fortunately because they're the team with the Aegis, they've got enough control just to be able to chill out. Monet, not scared to push out a lane by himself. He figures with the 2 lives, his team can join him. If VP do try and heavily commit, knowing it, he just clears out this 1 wave, he'll be able to have his BKB. It's almost there, Blitz. The multicast solar crest.
Does it work like that?
Dude, yes, it does. It's actually insane.
Dang. That's sweet. Oh. Dude, Pasha's had his revenge and sub this game.
Yeah, Pasha's, what a recovery made by him, by the way.
0-5.
When he popped his BKB, when he made that initiation, I was like, whoa. You have a Blink Blade Mail BKB. Good on you, dude. He's really not that far behind this Midas Ogre. And that's impressive. But it's still OD and Gyrocopter. We're pretty healthy in net worth right now. Trying to catch up to this Luna. Ramses, though, has been maintaining a healthy distance. He's about to finish up his Butterfly. That is one of the super effective items. I feel like that's when he really comes online at this point, because against the OD and Gyrocopter, especially the OD, right, doesn't want to build MKB.
I mean, I think that's one of those weird things where, like, it just doesn't really do much for you.
Yeah.
Oh, he took the 6-second sacred arrow. I was always just sacred.
Yeah.
Sacred arrow cooldown.
Dude, a 10-second, the fact that it's a 10-second cooldown, you could potentially stun someone for 5. That's scary, man. Smoke up from Virtus Pro, but RNG, they've got their own homegrown smoke in the Moonlight Shadow.
Both teams content to just sort of chill.
Who's
benefiting from this?
Yeah,
war?
because I feel like in a way, like RNG has actually been growing in net worth lead a bit. RNG, are they gonna try for this one? Oh, the Fire Blast on the axe. Now he's gonna get psyched up. There's a nice nightmare to be able to find some time, but he's just too low to pop BKB and fight anymore. And Solo, who put himself in the position to try and buy Pasha some time, ends up dying as well. Now it's BKB going out from no one. Looking to be able to catch people as Pasha with a buyback is able to provide some extra catch, but that's why RNG just leave Flyby to die. But now with the BKB having been used, RNG's ready to go back in Flyby using his own buyback here. Missile chasing down Ramses. There's the call out from Pasha. Managed to lock down this OD. That's a massive kill. Gets the culling blade on him. Monet finally forced to pop his own BKB and try and go for the kill on no one. Paraji is there with the mech and the tether. A fast heal up, and RNG realizing they've missed their window. They've got to back up.
Oh no, if that OD doesn't die there, they wreck that fight.
Yeah. But Pasha, once again, he found his opening. I don't know where he was hiding, how he got into blink range on this OD, but it is a game win. He's just got to keep that up. Roger actually going for BKB. No guarding greaves or anything. No further sustain items.
I think both teams kind of have this initiation problem right now.
Yeah.
Especially because of the BKBs.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you just see these fights coming. Arrow! No one runs headlong into it. The ET, they are going to be able to get a nice ult out of him, but sadly, because the OD is still dead for 30 seconds, there's just nothing to follow it up.
that was so funny because of the way that he spell usage. I thought for sure he would have seen it, but I guess he was in too tight of a corridor.
Yeah.
Made it sort of impossible for him to be able to reset that position anyway.
Yeah, this is always scary when you finally give up map control in the enemy team and they've got to carry like this.
Yeah.
They just mow down towers.
I mean, this is the benefit of Luna at this phase, right?
Yeah.
Also, the fact that he decided to keep his Mask of Madness.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, did he just sell it?
Yeah.
Couldn't he just...
He's all about that Scotty now.
Yeah,
He's not thinking about Satanic.
Okay.
He's got the sustain of Bliss. He's like, I don't need the lifesteal. I've got a 25 talent as well.
I mean, my question was like more geared to the fact that he could have used the quarter.
Yeah. For the
I'm okay with
butterfly
that.
he already built.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if you were gonna do that, man, you would have saved 400 gold.
Now he's not thinking about Scotty. Now he's thinking about Reaver again. So
Oh my!
who knows?
Did he sell it?
I'm pretty sure.
I would. Oh,
Well, he's got a
wasteful.
Satanic.
Just wasteful.
Oh, Satanic for Gyrocopter as well. All right, our carries are just it's a beautiful dance as they progress through their items.
That's the bougie Luna. Doesn't even care that she's wasting the gold.
Roger's like, damn it. I would say Roger was like, damn it, I've been stacking up for you, but honestly, I don't think Roger has stacked once for him. Pretty sure Roger has only stacked for himself. I feel like he's farmed every single stack he's
gotta look out for number one cap.
Spirits, I guess so.
As they're going to go into the Roshan themselves this time, as they got a lot of map control back. They rested it back.
They're super scary. There's no way RNG can give this one up, right? Giving up Aegis as well as Cheese to a Wisp lineup, that's always dangerous, but no one's going to be able to stall them up a lot. They don't want to precast BKB to be able to run inside the pit. That would just allow VP to retreat and win the fight off of that. So Monet wraps around, goes down the river from the other side, combined with the arrow and such. VP are forced to give up on the fast Roshan that they were attempting. And Monet just being fearless thanks to his Satanic. He can put himself on that front line now. There is that top lane push with the double siege wagon.
Oh,
Pasha nailed by the arrow, but is RNG really going to try and capitalize on that? No, they're not. Not in these tight corridors.
Oh, they're going to lead with the Fiend Script.
Range Fiend Script. They aren't going to be able to get the Fire Blast, allowing Monet to be able to get away from that one. He's going to throw down the ultimate, start getting some flank-handed shots, but Pasha goes into that back line, immediately identifies the OD, couldn't quite finish him off, not enough damage. Setsu is able to get away, but his BKB as well as his is Monet's. They're both retreating with their magic immunity items, and now Monet doesn't have a Satanic anymore. He's afraid to fight. Now they have to buy back. They want to be able to fight over this Roshan. Another call going down as Lana trying to sneak in from the side to be able to get his arrow, but not able to get it. Setsu is able to finish off the Invoker as well as the Io. Both buying back now. The Bane is going to be left to die.
And Setsu did so much there. Drops the Hex, drops his ulti, then two shots everybody in that vicinity, completely turns the fight around.
And it looks so nasty for him at first when Pasha found that initiation again. 2/3 of his health just went out the way in those 2-3 seconds, but
it tells you right there, no Spirit Vessel charges left. They're gonna walk into the Roshan pits. They know that they have the advantage here quite heavily in this area now.
Sunstrike gonna be able to get some vision. They desperately need some tornadoes and EMPs. They need to just kind of poke at RNG until they're weak enough that maybe they can contest, but looks like Roshan's just a bit too low, and RNG will bail themselves out. It costs them some buybacks and such, but they will get the Aegis into their hands, and I think very importantly, keep the cheese out of Roger's hands.
That fight looks so weird because the one thing about the Luna Axe is once everyone has BKB, you're just hesitant to cast it. And then by the time you cast it, because you don't want to just hold on to it too when you have your BKB going.
Yeah.
As we see the
See
Fiend
that
Script,
fight again.
he's going to get stunned up, and he pops.
Look at Pasha with that Shadow Blade. He waited so long, and he found that opening, and I thought, oh, sick. You're just going to do so much damage. Sadly, though, the Aghanims from Ramses just really doesn't do enough. They are able to chase down Monet, but at the same time, we're going to see Setsu on just like 1/3 of his HP come back in and go for the kill on no one.
And part of it is because Ramses decided to take the fight on the left side.
Yeah.
You saw him like split downwards. Maybe if he's there, he lucid beams, hits him like 2 or 3 times. Because he's steady enough that I think he wouldn't just die from the OD ult as well. Maybe I'm wrong here.
No, I think you're probably right about that, especially given how healthy he was at that point. But yeah, just a split focus. Loses VP, the Roshan.
And that's 7k gold now. And this is another strength that we normally see of VPs. It's just like their ability to work around each other in these team fights.
Yeah.
Not really seeing it quite yet. In this game, at least.
Tome so close to level 25 for the Luna, but she's not quite there.
They're going to burn out some mana, but Gyro's just going to walk in.
33 experience, that's all he needs. So just 1 or 2 creeps dying, that'll be enough now. Chain stun into the arrow.
Get this mini stun.
Yeah, that mini stun is
You need
real
more
dangerous
stun.
with the Aghanim Scepter.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's the Solar Eclipse Luna.
The cheese went to Flyby, by the way.
I appreciate it. Although I do love Hex on this hero when you pull this sort of item build.
Yeah, agreed. Refresher, Aghanim Scepter, level 25 Luna. That is going to be terrifying, especially if Pasha ever finds an opening like this. They try and get some of the damage out. Tornado going out as well, but Setsu, look at his commitment. A big hammer drop goes down. They're able to finish up both the axes as well as the bait. The fight back coming out for Ramses with the Eclipse going down. Is that going to be enough to find any kills? Setsu bearing out the Elder Titan. Now Monet's back into it with BKB. Another Aghanim Scepter being activated by Ramses. That's just ripping him apart, but he gets off the cheese just in time. Monet takes a lot of damage as well, but even with the double Satanics and such, this is just not enough. This Luna is going to be bailed out by the relocate. Otherwise, he would have died there to the side. No one. Setting up, does manage to get a nice tornado onto 2.
Just not enough damage.
No.
It looks so close right there, but
Another
even with the refresher.
Initiation, Roger can't tether away, and Arrow follows up that fire blast from Flyby.
They can't fight because the Luna doesn't have buyback. She all-in committed for this refresher, and
Yeah.
it looks so underwhelming.
It does. It does.
She dropped the double ulti hammer, and I mean, Flyby just popped cheese, walked calmly back in.
And look at this. They're still a tier 2 up, so RNG can't go for Megas. They're just going to go straight for the tier 4s, knowing they've still got another 30 seconds with that axe gone. Solo trying to get the Fiend's grip onto the ODs, dropping a little bit low. Afu's actually going to die into Bouncing Glaze with the scythe onto Ramses. He's in trouble. They need the Deafening Blast to be able to bail him out, but he can't quite get back to the fountain. Setsu just kept on swinging and managed to blink away before no one gets any real damage on him. No one now left in a 1 versus 4 for 15 seconds. Needs to be able to find a way to slow this down, but Solo says it's not possible. They're going to call the GG here, and another series that is going to end 1-1.
After a 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0 all day. As VP, I mean, this is such a weird sort of like style that we saw from them.
Yeah.
Because normally we see such an active VP. They have this heavy focus on the laning phase. Today, at least in the last 2 games, felt completely different than what we normally see.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like RNG, I mean, their lineup pretty resilient overall.